This is a sad situation. So many people are afraid of eviction. A lot of people are afraid of eviction. Um, there are a lot of landlords who are financially hurting right now. This is a crazy situation. So a group of landlords filed the originating case against Lawrence K. Marks, which is the chief administrative judge of the state court system. They address complaints that part of New York's eviction moratorium scheme, which actually involves two separate laws, violated their own property rights as landlords. One complained for more than 16 months and counting, the courthouse door has been barred to New York's landlords, denying them any meaningful opportunity to be heard. This is one complaint from a plaintiff in a July 27th application to the nation's high court. After a trial on the merits, the plaintiff property owners noted for the high court that a district court judge acknowledged they collectively satisfactorily demonstrated a risk of irreparable harm from continuing to house tenants for more than a year without payment. The landlords called the laws in the lower court judgments an ongoing deprivation of their constitutional rights and an associated crippling hardship as to the property or properties they own. The two laws in question are Part A, the COVID Emergency Eviction and Foreclosure Prevention Act, the CEFPA, and the Tenant Safe Harbor Act, the TSHA. The plaintiff did not complain about the TSHA. It was the first New York state law passed to protect tenants after the pandemic. The plaintiff summed it up as follows: citations omitted and some internal punctuation removed. The TSHA prohibits the eviction of residential tenants who have suffered financial hardship during the COVID-19 covered period. However, it does not bar eviction proceedings. Rather, it provides that tenants may raise financial hardship as a defense in a summary proceeding. Under the TSHA, in determining whether a tenant suffered a financial hardship during the COVID-19 covered period, the court is to consider, among other factors, a tenant's income prior to and during the pandemic, a tenant's liquid assets, and a tenant's eligibility for public assistance benefits. Wow. This is going to be crazy in New York. I mean, it is crazy already right now in New York, but just thinking about this, like, damn, listen, the landlords are going to have trouble not only in New York, but it's all over the country. I mean, you could just imagine how many people. I know how it is in New York. In New York, you could tell a person, yo, listen, rent is due, this is due. Like there be a hardship or a situation going on, like we have right now for the past 16 to 18 months. Ain't nobody leaving their building. They don't care about how you feel. Don't nobody care about how you feel, landlord. They not leaving their building because they know. And see, the problem is with New York, where a lot of these politicians and these a lot of these politicians failed at, and these lawmakers, all of these damn buildings. You see all of these buildings. You got a building with 40 floors, right? Let's say you got a building with 30, 40 floors, right? The building has 8 to 16 apartments on each floor, right? So that's 30, let's say 30 times 8, that's 240 apartments, right? 30 floors, 8 apartments. We're not even going to do 12 or 16 apartments. We're just going to keep it at 8, right? Even though it's really more than that, but we're going to keep it basic. 30 floors, 8 apartments each floor, right? That's 8 times 30 is 240. Now, you look at the amount of people that's in each apartment. Let's say each apartment on the minimum has 2 people in it, right? That's 480 tenants in a 30-floor building, right? Why would you have building A, building B, building C, building D? Now, you have all of those buildings. You got 480 tenants in one building, but you have 4 or 5 sections. So that's 4 or 5 buildings time that 480. Now you have 2,000 tenants in one area, let's say at River Park Towers, and because there's so many tenants in that one building and they're all going through a situation with rent, work, COVID relief, now all 2,000 plus of these tenants are going to tell you, we're not going anywhere. Do you know how hard it would be to try to evict 2,000 tenants? And that's just one section of buildings in one small area, not even a quarter mile, just that one little area. Now you have a whole nother section of buildings. Salute to Sedgwick. Now you got Sedgwick buildings. There's about 5, 6, 7, 8 buildings over there. Each building might be 15 floors, 10 floors, might be 12 to 16 apartments. Now it's, listen, there's too many people in these cities. They're crowded. Nobody's about to sit here and listen to a landlord say, you're evicted. What? Yeah, okay, you can take me to court. Because now, when they look at the pandemic, they look at their neighbor to the right, they look at their neighbor to the left, and they say, hold up. If we're all going through this, what makes this landlord think that they can just evict me? Mm-mm. You do have some people who are living in these buildings who don't have public assistance, who actually make $4, $5, $6,000 every single month, and they actually pay the high rent. You have people who are living in these buildings who get public assistance, and public assistance allows them to only have to pay 20% of whatever the rent is. So if the rent is, let's say the rent is $1,800, that would only require them to pay $360 of that rent. Only $360. So now, as opposed to a person like me or a person who's making $5,000 or $6,000 a month, maybe seven, now that person has to pay the actual $1,800, whether it's a 2 bedroom or 12, 1,300 for a 1 bedroom. They have to pay that amount. Those are the people who are going to get the issues, because now if the landlord can go through that paperwork and cipher out everybody who actually makes a certain amount every year versus those who get public assistance, the ones who are making a certain amount every year, they don't have to ever worry about being evicted because they make enough money. They're going to pay their rent on time, hopefully. Now, if they don't pay their rent on time, that's different. Now, with these laws and how everything is going, the landlord has the opportunity to say, you know what, this person makes X amount of money every month. They're not paying. Now a judge can be like, okay, you got to go. But how many people in these buildings are actually making that type of money every month? It's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of people. You might have 10% of your tenants in a building with 400 or 500 people. You might have 40 to 50 tenants who are actually making that amount of money to cover the full cost of the rent. And that's the problem. I hope everybody's being safe. I hope everybody's good. Any eviction problems that y'all got, please stay tuned. I'll be putting up all the links and everything like that so people can be safe during this process. Love, life, and loyalty is the motto. Stay safe, stay real, and stay true. You rock with me, I rock with you. Y'all be safe, and I will be back shortly with more.